Greetings and welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets, available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Tabatha Barron. Tabatha is the founder of Keeping Your Kids Safe. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Tabatha Barron. Tabatha, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Thank you so much. Tabatha, let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to start keeping your kids safe?
Oh my, oh my gosh. So I was in Texas, and my niece is in Pennsylvania. So my niece got put on the wrong school bus in her kindergarten year, twice in the same school year, right? But the first time, okay, so everybody makes mistakes. The second time, they dropped her off 5 miles away from where she's supposed to be. Now, some given point in time, we have to know that we're either part of the solution or part of the problem. So I decided to be part of the solution and build something to support the bus driver and the school and the parents while everybody's trying to scramble to get these children home safely every day.
Oh my God, you are not as good as you think. You are better, Tabata. So that's good. We all need to be part of a solution, not a part of problem. Problem tells you that what your experience. You don't want to have anybody else go through the same experience.
Right. But it turns out that there's so many people that go through it every day. The only
Yeah.
problem is that some of them don't talk about it, and everybody else is just trying to sweep it under the rugs. And the ones we really hear about are the ones that hit the news because it's gotten so far and that they need more help to find the student.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything in the news, there's so many other people have gone through already. They just news item just picked one of them.
Yes, that is exactly correct.
Yeah. Cool. So, Tabata, when it comes to keeping your kids safe, what are the top three mistakes to avoid for parents and schools?
Yeah. So one is that we have to remember that the older generation had some of the answers. Community helps to build a safer environment for our children, right? So don't try to go it all by yourself. Build the community around you to help support. Don't think that when new things come around, make sure that you kind of examine them. Make sure that you're not just saying, "Oh, I'll just stick with what always works," because sometimes it doesn't work. Things you do repetitively have a tendency for people find cracks in it. And the third thing is just to be open and listen. So sometimes part of why we find ourselves in some of the situations is we forget to kind of stop, pause, and listen. And I think those are very important things that people should be, very mindful to remember.
Mm, wonderful. And who is so you have the Kicks First website, which you're going to show in a moment. And who you're outreaching to? You're outreaching to parents directly to keep their kids safe, or you're outreaching to schools or parent teacher associations or someone else?
How cool is that? It's so we kind of work with a lot of them, right? So we are reaching out to the principals because they need the help. Just imagine I have two children by myself and they have like 500 or 900 students at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So we're looking for the principals there. We're also looking for the parents because the parents participate in part of the dismissal as well. So we're
Yeah.
looking to help and support those parents. So our software actually helps all three groups that help your student make it to you at the end of the day. So
Mhm.
the principals are the schools, the bus drivers are the transport, and we're looking for them as well. And then the daycares or childcare providers, because they are the ones that are receiving right before they hand off to the parents.
Wow, Tabata, you know your ideal client.
Yes, absolutely.
No, this is good. So, as you mentioned about your little story, I want you to elaborate a little bit. So, what's your biggest failure in your own greatest failure in life when it comes to keeping your kids safe? Because that happens to you. What did you learn from that, and how did you recover from it? Elaborate that.
So that's a very good question, though, because this is where we find our growth. I think for me, because I didn't listen to my intuition, I think that is my biggest mistake I've ever made. My biggest failure is because my body and the things that were happening and told me what direction to go or how to do it, and I ignored it. And in some cases, it kind of cost me. And because of that, I now pay closer attention to understanding what I'm trying to accomplish, where am I going, and then listening to my intuition enough to say, okay, is this feasible? Is this something I need to be concerned about?
Mm. Wonderful. This is good. So, what are the parents who are keeping their kids safe? What are the top three success secrets for
Oh,
them?
yeah. So some of the schools that we work with right now, their successes are because they finally listened and they understood that they didn't have all the answers. So they listened, and then they were able to hold everybody at the table accountable. So that would be number two. So they
Mhm.
listened and they held a lot of other people accountable. And number three, they weren't afraid to be the first, and they weren't afraid to shatter the status quo and continue to do things the way they always have done it.
Mm. Where you have been? We should have known each other 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Come on, Tabatha. Yeah, it is amazing how slick and meaningful app, like a software application you build. It was all your idea, somebody into your team, or something. Just tell us more about your solution. You muted or something. Your audio went away. No, I can't hear you. No. See, you kept the best one. You're just keeping the best one for yourself only. Okay, I can't hear it. Now I can yell at you if you like. No, still no audio. Audio is gone. You are muted. Unmute, please. Unmute.
Okay, there we go. I muted myself.
Okay,
Sorry.
wonderful.
So the thing about it is that the software, the way it works is that I use the same technology that we all use when we go to work, but each child scans to get onto the bus and scans to get off of the bus. Our software actually does something different. It actually tells the student where they're supposed to be if they're in the wrong place. It's something that needed to happen, because the worst thing in the world is to have a child show up and then you say, so show up and you don't know where they're supposed to go. I don't know where you're supposed to go. I just know you're not supposed to be here, right? So we made sure to kind of solve that as an issue. And so we also take care of 100% of the dismissal. So we take care of the walkers and the bikers and the car riders and the childcare bus riders, because we found that 24 to 50% are riding the yellow bus. So what do you do with the rest of the students? So you have to, those parents also have the same kind of challenges. So we open up the software to allow for it to consider those other students. So that is, they scan and leave the building and the parents get a text message, and then they're timing their student. Okay, it takes them 20 minutes to get home. I know I should wait 20 minutes before I start to panic. And it kind of minimizes the amount of time a predator may have to snatch and run. So we
Mm.
put all of this together because I was sitting there, I was like, I have to figure out how to do this. And because I have an engineering background, I was able to start to kind of build out everything that I kind of needed to have in order to roll the program out successfully and just be able to do that.
Wonderful. Kicks first, kyksfist.com. That's
Yeah,
the website. So if you don't notice, it's already on your screen. Just go and visit and actually explore it. Help our guests to increase the awareness, okay? Because you are a kid to someone. So if you have a kid, if you don't have a kid for yourself, that's okay too. I'm sure you know somebody who has a kids. Help us to increase the awareness, because it's not for her business. It's for our mutual safety, for everybody to be safe. Is that right?
that is correct. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we always keeping your kids safe first. If we look at the website, and that was very intentional, because a lot of times what we wanted to make sure is to say is that our number one and only priority is going to be making sure that that student makes it home. And our software has been very successful in actually identifying at least 2 children out of place every single day for the schools that are enrolled. So for those families who feel like, oh, that's okay, I don't really need it, or those principals who say, I don't really have the problem, at the end of the day, if it's happening all the way around, it's better to have a more proactive stance than to have a reactionary stance. And then you have to explain so much more when you're trying to explain away possibly a death or a kidnapping or something along those lines. And we've all heard those stories.
Yeah, yeah. Tabatha, even one is too many in this case. Okay, we cannot afford it. So thank you for stepping up and actually coming up with the solution. Yesterday was a International Women Day, and I salute you for people like you creating an effort, be
Thank
a
you.
part of helping all of us to do better things in our life. This is amazing. Uh, Tabatha, how you say schools who are using it? I listen very carefully when guest is speaking. How many overall kids are being using this program, parents, and how many schools? High level number. I don't need your exact dollars and
No,
cents.
I get it. We were supposed to scale last year, but because of COVID, we all had to sit down and take a pause. So we have like well over 6,000 students on the platform in a district. And we were rolling out. We've been just working to make sure to improve it. We actually introduced more programs and things like that. So there's an opportunity for the numbers to definitely increase this year coming up. But it was we were just really getting a good chunk out of the market.
You
Small
could
chunk.
qualify. You could Tabatha. We are on live program. You could qualify to be a good politician. That was not my question. Okay.
No,
How
I'm saying
many?
it's over 6,000. It was over 6,000 students that were on the program.
Yeah, understood. 6,000 students. However, I say how many schools are adopting it? How many
Oh,
parents are involved in that? That's the kind. That's
oh,
more.
that's what you. Okay, so we had it was like the numbers kind of equate. So it's probably about 5,000 parents. 5,000 parents were involved, and about 6,000 students were on the program. And at the time, it was like 8 different schools that we had the program with, and
Mhm,
that was after school programs, home child care centers, and the schools.
mhm. Just curious, how is the school pays for it, parents pays for it, or who pays for it? All this and
Right.
even yeah.
It's going to be the school that pays for it. It is a program that the parents can help pay for with another part of the app. So there's a parent app that based on what the school adopts, they can actually help support and pay for the program so that it doesn't come out of the school's pocket. And then the school can actually get a check written back to them at the end of the year if they participate in one of our programs.
Mhm. Let's say in my area, the one school want to adopt it. What's the range of the cost? Just a high level. I know the number of students, number of parents. I get it. Typical elementary school, the size is a certain
Right.
number. So, yeah,
So it depends on how many students
yeah.
enroll, and it could be about it can be as low as $6 $6 a student for the entire year. It
Oh,
can
that's
be as low as $6 a student the entire school year.
yeah. You are that cheap?
Well, I'm not cheap like that,
Yeah,
but because of the numbers, we can actually bring it down to an
yeah,
affordable rate. There should
yeah.
never be a time where safety costs so much that it's unattainable. So we
That
make sure that we work with anybody who's wanting to work with us and we work out the pricing that will help support them.
wonderful, wonderful. How you are outreaching to schools right now?
Say the question again.
How you are outreaching to your schools,
Um, yeah,
daycares right now?
phone calls, parents, and emails.
Emails. What's
Yeah.
working the best?
Um, I think everybody's very tied up with academics. So I've gotten better responses back through email,
Yeah. Oh,
but I
okay.
don't think that that's definitely not the way. I think they're really just bogged down on academics.
How big is your team, Tabata? Who can support all this?
It's right now it's smaller. We've had to downsize because of everything. So maybe 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but other than that, yeah, well, we get it in.
Okay. Something happened to your audio again.
I've got to take my hand off of this thing because it keeps hitting the button.
Yeah, yeah. Wrong button. You're pushing the wrong button.
Tapping the
Okay.
wrong button.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, folks. You are watching this. This is only in US right now because you are just starting out, and you probably
Right.
will do it internationally too. Because doesn't nothing stops you to doing it, adapting it anywhere. Because even outside of US, people want to keep their kids safe.
This is true. This is pretty cool, though. I think the one thing I want to say is that we're not GPS related. So the one thing that we offer is that the child is only thing that we work with, right? So we make sure to manage that student. So I'm never going to I don't want to should never say never, but I don't really want to do anything with GPS or anything that monitors equipment or transport, because
Yeah.
what find is that when you put the two together, so a child versus a bus, somehow or another the child ends up losing. People are more concerned with how do I replace the vehicle versus you can never replace a child. And I think that I just didn't want to confuse the two. So I want to make sure that people understand your student, your child going home to you every day is the most important thing to us. And so we want to make sure that we do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Tabatha Barron. We are about to wrap up. I like to have your few words about what would you say about your today's guest experience on Growth Hacking Secret Show.
No, this is pretty cool. I really liked it. I thought it was very good questions, and we didn't do any prep work. So I think that that's really awesome. I really appreciate the opportunity. I think that the way we go about doing this is peer interaction and peer improvements, and I think that's a really good way to get it done. So I really do thank Siddique for this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words. Tabatha, what would you say as a final word?
So at the end of the day, because you are able to take your student home or your child home every day without any incident, doesn't mean your neighbor had the same experience. Please do not wait until specifically to you before you act, or at least ask the question. So if it hasn't happened to you, great, I'm so glad. But there are a lot of schools out there and a lot of students that come up missing and get reported and unreported. So please just reach out to us and start the conversation.
Thank you so much, Tabatha, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.